At the heart of Sith philosophy is the belief that the self, the individual's will, is the only constant in a universe of endless turmoil. The Sith code says it plainly: peace is a lie, there is only passion. This is more than a rejection of peace. It's a denial of the idea that life can ever exist without struggle. The Sith view the galaxy as chaotic, where nothing is stable and everything is in conflict. In such a universe, the only thing you can truly control is yourself. For the Sith, the self is not fixed. It is fluid, ever-changing, and always striving for more. Mastery of the self means dominating your passions, unlocking your full potential. Power for the Sith is not merely a tool, it is the ultimate truth, a continuous process of becoming. But what happens when this philosophy clashes with something as unpredictable as love? In the Sith view, love is the ultimate form of attachment, and attachment for the Sith is inherently destructive. To love, especially in the romantic sense, is to allow another person, or even a thing, to intrude upon the sovereignty of the self. When a Sith engages with love, they risk becoming bound to another being, emotionally, psychologically, and even existentially. This attachment creates vulnerabilities, weaknesses that can be exploited by others. Worse still, it could lead a Sith to abandon their pursuit of self-interest and power, choosing another's desires or safety over their own. In this way, love poses a direct existential threat to the Sith's individualist philosophy. Loving someone means subordinating your will, even if only for a moment, to another. To love is to risk losing yourself, to let another occupy a place of prominence in your mind and soul, a place that should be reserved exclusively for the will to power. The Jedi, by contrast, view love as a potential source of suffering. Attachment to loved ones can lead to pain, fear, and even corruption. For the Sith, the ideal is uncompromising autonomy, a state where no external influence, not even love, can tamper with the will. At the core of Sith philosophy is the recognition that all emotions are powerful sources of energy. However, unlike the Jedi, who see love as a bond to cherish, the Sith view love as something to be controlled, harnessed, not something to be embraced in its pure emotional form. The relationship between Darth Malgus and Elena Daru shows us the dark and complicated nature of Sith love. At first, Malgus, a Sith Lord embodying passion and rage, forms an emotional connection with Elena, a former slave he freed. Their bond seems genuine. Elena becomes a source of strength for Malgus, feeding his rage and ambition. When Elena is defeated by Jedi Knight Aaron Lanier, Malgus does something unexpected. He spares Aaron's life. This act of mercy, born from his attachment to Elena, shows a crack in Malgus's otherwise unshakable armor. For a Sith, mercy is a dangerous sign of weakness. Malgus realizes that his emotional connection to Elena, once a strength, has now become a potential weapon that could be used to manipulate him. So, in a true demonstration of Sith philosophy, Malgus kills Elena. This is not just the end of a relationship, it's the severing of a dangerous attachment. He rejects anything that could take away his autonomy. Malgus's attachment to Elena becomes a possession, a tool, a source of energy. Once severed, it fuels his desire for domination and strengthens his commitment to never showing weakness again. For a Sith, love is never a bond between two individuals. It's something to be exploited, a tool to further one's ambition. The Sith don't love like the Jedi, out of compassion or connection. They love only as long as it serves their purpose. While the Sith can transform love into a tool for power, they cannot escape the emotional scars it leaves behind. Once a Sith has loved, that love cannot simply be erased. It lingers, reshaping their identity in ways beyond their control. Malgus, for example, is haunted by Alina's death, not with regret, but with the memory of it, which he uses to fuel his rage and ambition. Love, no matter how manipulated, leaves a permanent mark, a reminder that no emotion, however controlled, can ever be fully mastered. This reveals a deeper paradox within Sith philosophy. In their pursuit of absolute power, the Sith seek to dominate their emotions, yet these emotions often end up dominating them. By trying to reshape love into a tool for power, the Sith risk allowing love to reshape them in turn. In striving to master the self, they may find themselves ruled by the very forces they seek to control. The tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, who falls to the dark side and becomes Darth Vader, epitomizes the Sith's fraught relationship with love. Anakin's love for Padme Amidala begins as genuine, but is deeply corrupted by his inability to separate love from attachment and possession. From the outset, Anakin's love is entwined with fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being powerless to protect her. This fear drives him to extremes, pushing him toward the dark side in his desperation to save her from a death he cannot prevent. As Anakin becomes Vader, his love for Padme transforms from affection into possession. He no longer sees her as an autonomous being with her own desires, but as someone who belongs to him. When she rejects him, his possessive love turns violent, culminating in his attempt to control her through sheer force. This is the dark side's ultimate corruption of love. It transforms a bond of care into an obsession with control. Vader's actions show that he loves Padme not for who she is, but for what she represents to him. She is no longer a partner, but an extension of his own identity, a possession he cannot bear to lose. Yet even as Darth Vader, Padme's memory haunts him. Her death, caused in part by his own actions, fuels his anger and pain, making her absence a driving force in his darkness. The Sith teach us that the self is an ever-changing force, constantly in flux. But is there ever a moment where the drive for power consumes the very soul it seeks to control? Perhaps, in the pursuit of absolute mastery, the Sith lose the one thing that makes them truly human, something the Jedi might argue they never had to begin with.